Nobody wins them all, folks. Some go up, some come down, but one way or the other, the Kansas City Chiefs will play again right after they get back off the schneid tonight. How do they do that? On our live Q&A here on RGR Football. Let's go. Welcome in, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're brought to you by BetUS. Check them out and use that code YouTube150 to get a great bonus up to 3 times, so up to 2K. We are here. We are alive. The sun came up and all is well. I'm digging it. And yet we're still going to bitch and complain and break down everything. And more importantly, answer all of your questions tonight. You guys are running this show, bringing us the questions. We're just bringing the answers and a little bit of heat, probably. We'll see what happens. Like, sub, and hit the bell. We would appreciate it. This is Daniel Harbs, the lead film analyst on this channel at NFL 33 and a number of other places. You can find him on the Draft Network. You can find him a little bit everywhere. It's in Harm's Way 19 on X. I'm Ryan Tracy. You never met me before. It's fine. I'm just the dude who talks a lot. And you can find me on NFL 33. I'll have a piece for you tomorrow as I start to get into the draft side. I've just been complaining about front office decisions so far this season on NFL 33. So if you dig that, make sure you go get some. And on Locked On Chiefs, you can find me there as well. A lot of intro for not a lot of hubbub. I put it on the thumbnail, and the more that I thought and broke down this game, the more that I'm just like, the miss to Xavier Worthy should have been a touchdown again. And this one, for some reason, hit me different. You have been quick to point out and absolutely accurate that Patrick's just been missing some things, missing him in particular. It took this game where they dumbed down the game plan to focus on X and still missed him that really got under my skin. And the more that I looked at it, the more I decided, you know what? Patrick's got to give more. I know he's magic, but he wasn't last night, and he's got to give more in order for this team to rise to his level. You don't get weeks off. It's a long season. I think they're preparing for that. But this is the leader that's got to pull everybody else along. Am I crazy?
I think the big problem is that he's under pressure, not just physically, mentally. Mm-hmm. He's feeling pressure at a higher rate than he ever has, I think, and it's impacting him at a higher rate than it ever has as well. The stats back that up. Under pressure, he's been bad this year. He's been awful. To be very honest with you, it's not been good. It's been the worst that we've seen Patrick Mahomes under pressure. He has not been unable to really get out and be what we've seen over the past few years. And whether that's because teams are just like, fine, we're going to put a spy on you. We're going to try to really make it so you have to leave up and out if you're going to do anything at all. I don't know, but if you start taking things away that the Chiefs like to do, make them uncomfortable and make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable, it's seeming to work more frequently and more frequently. So I think that the magic, I don't even need to see that. I need to see execution. Patrick Mahomes needs to execute football. That's not something he's done for the large portion of this season. That's shown up in the interceptions, a little bit not in the interceptions as well, with some fluky interceptions here and there, but like the very first throw, the very first interception, he's got guys that are open, and he, instead of holding the ball, just standing up in the pocket, pump faking to Travis Kelce, and then hitting Noah Gray wide open over the middle of the field, he brings his eyes down. He brings them down and tries to go up where a spy is waiting for him. That's not okay. You can't do that. You have to be comfortable. I know you don't want to get hit, but you got to stand in the pocket. You got to make some of these throws. If he would have just clutched that ball like he did, pumped to Kelce, reset, and hit Noah Gray, no one would have said a word. He would have gotten hit. He wouldn't have thrown an interception. But instead, he brings his eyes down, and we see the aftermath of that. So he's going to talk about it. He's already mentioned how he missed Xavier Worthy. And yes, he's got to get his feet down. There's no question about that, guys. He does. Yeah. The problem is that Patrick Mahomes missed a wide open touchdown. That is a big problem. And I'm not going to make a huge fuss about Xavier Worthy. He did try. You know, if you watch the play, he did bring his foot along. It was just early. He mistimed it. So everyone needs to execute better. And from top down, Patrick is the primary person because everyone else will follow suit.
I completely agree with you. It takes two on that particular play, but it's got to come from the vet that's doing it. Night Hunter, nice to see you, buddy. A lot of our regulars are in here. We're going to get right to your questions now that we've completed our thought of the day. If you want on the show tonight, hit that super chat. Every super chat gets an answer no matter what tonight, and we're going to cover all the topics. A ton of questions already in here, and we will get to everyone. If you asked a similar question to someone else, You might not be the one that goes up because they had it covered first, probably. We will go in order that way, but if you want on, you know how to do it. If you want the gear, you can get the MVP gear, you can get the Rogue Nation gear. It's all in the store, and even the Shield logo. That's my personal favorite. So let's get after it. Swag Boy says, I'm frustrated with Mahomes because we know he can be like a top NFL top quarterback in the NFL. This season reminds me of Wentz 2020. Is it mental with him? I'd love to hear your opinion before I say what I think.
I think right at this point, it's a little bit mental, yes. And it's got to be frustrating where teams for so long were just taking away the deep ball. And then last year, you couldn't throw a deep ball and there was nobody open. And the guys that were would drop it and things like that. And now you're getting a guy who's open every game, every single game. He's got at least one or two times where he's wide open. And now you can't hit it. Like, I can't even imagine like how frustrating that has to be for, again, a team, an offense that would do this all the time. Defenses tried to shut you down. And then again, last year you go through all of that turmoil. It's not going to be perfect, but it does feel like there's a ton of open Xavier worthy targets that are just off here and there. So I think that they're going to eventually figure it out. The good news is that X, is open. Like he's literally
right.
open every game. So you can at least count on that getting through. But if you look over on the other side of the ball with Josh Allen hitting an anticipatory double move to Amari Cooper, who got there 3 weeks ago, and all he did was kind of float it out there, and Patrick can't even like put it in front of Xavier on a wide open touchdown, that's got to be a little frustrating. So I think mentally it is, but also you have to look at how the offense is structured. They are throwing the ball 5 yards. 5 yards, pretty much for the most part. You're peppering inside of 5 yards. So you have to all of a sudden recalibrate and then throw deep ball. When you're just doing this, then you have to stop, set your feet, and then throw it. There can be some mechanical issues that are going on too. So I do think there's a lot of mental stuff, but also the structure of the offense is tough to get Mahomes in the rhythm of throwing the ball deep, I think.
I agree with you. And I'm not going to go as deep into it as I did on Locked On Chiefs. You guys go over and listen to that for me. If you're not subbed on Locked On, go get it here on YouTube or audio or whatever. But I'll give you the synopsis because this isn't what Swag Boy was asking about, but I will tell you this. I think the mental strain of going 20 games after 20 games after 20 games is on them. And I do feel like both the coaching staff and Patrick Mahomes himself both feel like we're just going to do the bare minimum that we have to do to get a W. If we come up short once or twice, we don't really care.
Yeah.
As long as we have that first seed and we're not screwing around giving that away, we're going to be all right. And I do think that they are very protective of what they gave away in this ball game. They barely played D-Hop, less than 50% of the snap count. Juju, hardly at all. 1 target for Watson. This was, we're going to run double tights at you, and we're going to try to emphasize X. This was nothing like the game plan will be in the playoffs. So I do think that this is all mental preparation for what will come in January. So not to go off on my soapbox there, folks, but more on Locked On. Would it be catastrophic to flip Jawan to LT and Wane to right T? You tell me.
I mean, in the grand scheme, you probably wouldn't be catastrophic, but continuity-wise, no, it wouldn't be good. You don't want learning again all season long. Wanya Morris has been stepping back with his left foot. Jawan Taylor with his right foot. All of a sudden, now you got to switch that. And Jawan Taylor's been doing it his entire career. His entire career has been right. So you're gonna immediately make both positions worse by doing so. You need a full again. If the Chiefs were going to move Jawan Taylor to left tackle, they would have done it when they signed him. It would have been then. At this point, there's no going back. He is your right tackle. Wanya Morris is your left tackle. That's the season. End of story.
If you were going to do it, the time would have been to do it when you had to bench Kingsley.
Yeah, agreed.
That's it. That was early enough where you could recover. Now it's too late in the season. It's too much of an adjustment when you have to make sure that you now keep pace ahead of the Bills. Now, the Bills have a tougher schedule. I can see them dropping another game. Certainly, they gave you everything they had because they're playing the Chiefs, and they're going to do that again next time. But while it would not be, it wouldn't kill the season, it would definitely make it more difficult, FLDB. Yep. And everybody give him a hand. One of our mods keeps things straight around here, helps us on Discord. If you're a member, you get into Discord, period. Join at the rookie level above, and you're in. So if you want to do that, there's a join button underneath Dan. You can check that out. Swag Boy, again, love the show. Do you think that Andy is getting stubborn and trying to involve every wide receiver? Diab needs at least 6 receptions. He was catching everything. You're right. He was the flavor of the week because he was new. Now it was, hey, we got to get X actually going. So I do think Andy's stubborn for sure. But I do think it's also targeted. I don't think the game plan is as all-encompassing as we think it ought to be.
I think that Andy also understands that game planning is important. It was clear that 12 personnel was the game plan. And honestly, Noah Gray should have had 3 touchdowns in this game. I'm going to get to it in my video breakdown for you guys on Wednesday. We're talking about some of the miscues and how just a little bit here and there can change how this game turns out. And I think that there was a play that the Chiefs were trying to get Noah Gray on a late leaker, right? Just leaking out to the middle of the field, and he would have been open for a touchdown where there was nobody there. But he was open multiple times in this football game. And Patrick in the second half of this game was trying to force the ball to Travis Kelce at times when he didn't need to, when you have guys that are wide open. Honestly, there's a play where you have a natural pick when both guys in the intermediate parts are kind of going out and into the middle of the field. And he forces the ball to Travis Kelce, who can't make guys miss right now. Let's be honest about it. He can't do it. It's not in the cards. He is physically unable to make players miss in space right now. He doesn't have that in his box. So you throw a 5-yard pass to Travis Kelce, it gets 6. It's not getting 10 yards like it used to. He doesn't move that way anymore, at least not right now. Maybe in the postseason it'll be different, but right now it does not look like he can do that. So he's forcing the ball a little bit to Travis when this offense needs to be spread around. Xavier needs to be more involved. DeAndre Hopkins needs to be more involved. And then I think they did a good job of using McCole Hardman in multiple ways in the backfield. Playing 12 personnel without a running back was unique. You're playing still 4 receivers, so that was a cool little wrinkle they put in there that I enjoyed seeing. But you can't just force the football to Travis Kelce. You can still use him, but if he ends up having a game where he doesn't get more than 2 catches, 3 targets, and you're still successful, that needs to be okay with you. It has to be.
As long as you're successful. That's what it comes down to.
Exactly.
As long as you have more points at the end of the day than the other team, everything's going well. I'm going to flip around a little bit here, a little bit out of order just because this is a good topic. Thank you, Micah. Nice to see you, buddy. Excuse me, folks. I'm going to try to power through here. Any hope that Tyquan Thornton can help this offense? He can. I don't know when, but it's because of a certain aspect that he brings to the game. And Ruthless was asking the same thing. Thanks for the support, Ruthless. Appreciate the super chat. Are we going to get wide receivers that separates from man? And that's the thing. Thornton has the speed to do that. I'm not so sure about his hand fighting, getting off of press. I think the Bills will come back and press you come the postseason, but we'll find that out. But he adds another deep speed kind of option. I just don't know. A lot of rumor about what went on with him previously. I don't know how well he adjusted or how quickly he adjusts to this offense. How do you see him? You've probably done more work on him than I have.
I remember him very vividly out of Baylor. The biggest thing that I remember liking about him was that he took advantage of busted coverages. I didn't like him as a route runner. I didn't really like him catching the football, and he does not play well against press or man coverage. So that's what you're looking at, a guy who's got speed, but this is a bet for next year. Look at the wide receiver room. There's like 3 receivers on the roster. So this is we're going to get you in here now. You're going to learn the playbook as much as you can now. We'll have you for a full off season, and we'll go from there. I think that's what this is more about than anything for this season in particular.
Break glass kind of thing. A bigger McCole Hardman, basically, right?
Essentially, yeah. But you don't want him on jet sweeps, in my opinion, either. So
agreed. But he is that speed downfield threat.
Yeah.
Somebody gets hurt, you got to have more wheels in the barn to go after it. So thank you, Ruthless. Appreciate you. Swag, going to the Panthers game. I will tell Mahomes I have him in my parlay, so maybe he will play better. I don't think he cares about parlays, but you let him know anyway, because whatever it is, I say trigger it. If you can get him to go, get him to go. I'm all for it. Here, will you take this one?
Yeah, of course. I'll take over for a little bit so you don't have to do all the reading here. Quinn, thank you for the question, man. What's the fix for the defense? Feels like it's been the worst 3-week stretch since early 2022. Cook, Reed, and Connor seem to have a problem with tackling. Connor is a playmaker when the ball is in the air, though. So I'll disagree with you about this being the worst 3-week stretch since early 2022. They gave up 14 points to the Broncos. Okay, 14 points. Who just lit up the Falcons. Like, they did a good job there. This defense is still very good. You had some breaks did not go the Chiefs' way yesterday. There were specifically 2 big plays on third down that you can't help. Amari Cooper makes a fantastic one-handed catch over Najee Johnson, who's in great coverage. You can't do anything about that. You just can't. And the other one down the right-hand sideline was a fantastic double move executed by Amari Cooper. Again, it's hard to play DB. And Josh Allen was getting hit as he threw that football down the right-hand sideline. And guess what? It was in the perfect spot. You can't defend that. Even if Najee Johnson was in position, it's a catch. Doesn't matter. So sometimes you just get beat by good plays. And on third down yesterday, specifically, the Chiefs had no answers for that. It's the pass rush with 4. They had to blitz Josh Allen yesterday. They had to. Spags had no answers. They did not have a choice. They had to blitz. So you saw yesterday when the Chiefs cannot get after it with 4 players, that Spags had to do some different things. And I still don't think he showed enough of what you're going to see if they have to play again, because that was, again, on purpose. It was on purpose. So I don't think it was that bad. Justin Reed always has a tackling problem until the postseason. Just always. That's been a theme the last 2 years, so I'm not worried about that. You kind of have to live with the Chamari Connor thing, because that's always going to be a problem. You're muted.
I'm over here chuckling to myself. Don't mind me. I will say this too. I think Najee had a great game the week before. Didn't play great yesterday. Tough matchup. I think it's to this point for me, despite Joshua not playing well either, and knowing that you don't have a lot under their CRW, great special teams play yesterday. Didn't get a whole lot of defensive stands to make an impact. I think he can, but again, a smaller guy. I think it's to the point now, until you can get Jalen Watson back, and I still am going to hold out hope. Dan, I don't know if you agree with me. I still think he can get back for the postseason. But until then, it's matchup-based corners for me. I'm not starting. I don't have a CB2. So I would have rather seen Joshua Williams get burnt against Cooper yesterday, because Josh was strong enough to redirect him, to blow up some of that timing and prevent maybe 1 or 2 of those catches, especially the one-handed one, because he would have slowed down, gotten in the way, and beat up Cooper on the route. And I think that would have messed up Josh a little bit too.
I don't even think they're letting him press on those 3rd and longs. Like, that's kind of my problem. If you're going to blitz Josh Allen because you don't have a choice, let your DBs press a little bit. And on that double move specifically, it wouldn't have happened. Josh Allen would have gotten sacked. I'm telling you right now. At worst, Amari Cooper is thrown off on his timing, and Josh Allen has to adjust where he's throwing. And guess what? Let them do it. Honestly, I don't think Najee Johnson played that poorly yesterday. I'm going through the tape right now, and I don't think he really played that poorly. There were some flash plays. There was some really good run support and some play recognition skills. He got beat by Amari Cooper a couple times. It's gonna happen. And I think he's been getting better. And so I know a lot of people are like worried. I am too. I think Jalen Watson was playing elite cornerback 2 football when he got hurt. And right now, Najee Johnson is kind of wavering, but I do think he's getting more confident in himself, which is really what you need to play the cornerback position at this level.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. You have to have there is no way around. I will say this too, and before we go any farther, folks, this is a public service message for you, those of you that are in the chat or any chat anywhere else. Najee has 2 E's in it. It does not have an I. So be careful with your spelling there. You might trigger something you're really not looking for. So Nazee. Let's do that.
That's funny.
I had a ton of people tweet at me. Sorry, X at me, whatever that means now.
It's still tweet.
With that. Okay, thank you. With the same stuff. And I was like, man, folks, I'm not replying to those. The Chiefs stick with the same linebacker unit next year. Should we re-sign Willie Gay? He will be a free agent. Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. I would bring Willie back.
Sure, why not? But let's draft a linebacker that you can count on to play all 3 downs. Yeah. I'm just saying it'd be nice.
I agree. I have not taken a look at the off-ball linebacker group this year. I'm not sure that I see somebody that's a 3-down player for me. But I'm only watching incidentally.
There's some good linebackers in this room, like in this draft, that you will be able to play all 3 downs. But you got to be able to get them early, and the Chiefs don't necessarily want to do that for
No.
another year when they went back to back doing that on day 2. So
Right.
3 actually they did it 3 times.
Hey, what do you see on film? Sorry.
On why the defensive line is not getting pressure, technique, speed, power. There's another question that we saw that I saw a little bit earlier on this. Just guys, give Ryan a break. He's going to be okay. Right here from Corey. Can you explain why they can't get pressure with 4 and Chris is occupying double teams? And by the way, Chris Jones is still winning. He's the number 1 pass rush win rate player in the league. Still doing it, and he's not getting sacks, which tells you he's getting a lot of pressures. He's not able to get home because the ball's coming out too fast, and also no one's helping him out. As much as we talked about it last night as well, George Karlaftis has formed into a very good defensive end too. He's been much better against the run. He is stout from a physical standpoint. He plays with a ton of effort, but he does not win early in the down. He can't win early in the down. It's not in his skill set. It's not in his style. And physically, he just can't. I'm sorry. It's what it is. That's why they drafted Felix. And he's getting better. He's getting more productive. The problem, I think, with that is they brought Mike Dana back when he was starting to get better, and then they brought in Josh Uche, and now he's not getting the consistent reps that he was improving on, and it's hard to do that. And again, we wanted to see more Josh Uche. I imagine that's going to happen later, but at the end of the day, Mike Dana and George Karlaftis, your number 2 and number 3 pass rusher in any situation, do not win fast. That's the predominant thing here. They don't win fast. They are late winners, and they're pocket collapsers. You're muted again. It's because you're coughing so much.
I'm so used to not doing that. I'm sorry. You know who does win fast when he's healthy? Old number 90, Charles Omenihu can beat you to the gap. He will be back. I don't know if it's going to be this week. I'm not too worried if it is. But when you look at having Omenihu, I would argue on 3rd downs in the playoffs, it's going to be Uche outside to start. Chris, Omenihu, George. And then you have a rotation of fresh legs with Mike, with Felix, with a number of guys that can come in, just keep it rotating and always provide the advantage of the legs being fresher. I think that helps. And I also feel like the next time they meet the Bills, you're going to be able to rush 5. I would like to see them bring in 5 linemen and rush with 3 DNs, Chris, and by then Omenihu sliding inside, possibly that could work as well. So you don't have to blitz if you don't want to, because there was a couple of plays, at least twice yesterday, where they're dropping ends and they were just getting beat up because ends can't cover because they're defensive ends. Don't do it, Spags. It's got to be rare, and Josh has seen it too many times to make it work. That's my only thought.
I'm with you there. It's tough. Right now, the Chiefs are making it tougher on themselves. I appreciate that, Micah, and we also had a couple questions about that. So hopefully we got that out of the way there. Jacob, appreciate you, man. And this is a good one for running back. He's probably going to be a day 2 player, but we'll have bigger needs in the draft. But my UNC fandom wants Amari Hampton in this offense so bad. Thoughts? Yes, I think Amari Hampton is kind of what you got from Kareem Hunt early on. Like he's that type of. He's not going to be the flashiest guy in the world. He's not going to run by everybody. He's going to run the play. He's going to get to the gap, and if he doesn't, he's going to do what he needs to do to get the most out of the play. He's physical. He's got great contact balance. He's got a really good stiff arm. He uses his hands well within the rep, and what I mean by that is running backs like to keep guys away from them, right? They don't want them getting up here. They want them doing things. He does the small things, pushing hands away, stiff arming away. It's not like a dead stiff arm where he's putting guys in the dirt. It's buying him time so we can get up to speed and get upfield. So I love the call. And if you guys are interested in checking out what he does, I did a film breakdown on him on TDN before the season, and my guy Damian Parson on his own YouTube page. You can find him on Twitter at DP_NFL. Did a video breakdown today of Amari Hampton.
Oh, nice. Check out Damian. He's great. And a great resource. I'm going to check out for just a minute after she's on your lap.
Okay, I appreciate that. Oh, all right, sweetie. Let's get you. Ryan's going to check out here a little bit, but it's just going to be you and me for a little bit. Is that good with you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. He's got some coughs.
I'm a
Get your
sicky
feet over
kiddo.
here.
I appreciate you. And you got
Your
those
feet over
good-looking jams on again. You're scary, Rock.
All right, everybody. We are going to be making this work here for a little bit until Ryan gets back. So, and I apologize if I miss some of your questions or your doing anything like that. Hey, Mama says she can see you. You want to say hi, Mama? She can see you. She's watching. She's watching. She can see you. So can you? Yeah, she you can tell her
Right now?
she won't be able to talk to you, but you can say hi
Where?
into the microphone.
Where's Mom?
You can't see her, sweetheart. She's watching the stream. That's what we're doing right now. Okay. You can talk to her. You can just say hi. It's fine. Just say hi, Mom. It's fine.
Hi, Mom.
There you go. Alex, appreciate the question, man. Thank you for being here. What is the plan for cornerback 2? Who will be there come playoffs? Will Najee Johnson or other CRW, Taylor, etc.? I assume Watson out the whole regular season regardless. Love the show. Well, thank you very much, Alex. I do think that Najee Johnson's playing okay. I'm not saying he's been near Jalen Watson's ceiling. I think that he's been closer to what Jalen Watson was as a rookie. And that's not a terrible thing. It's tough when you don't have cornerback 1 and then 2 established in that process. So at the end of the day, I do think you're going to see him play. Hopefully you get some situational stuff with Keith Taylor, maybe even CRW, who should have been playing for Chamari Connor a few times yesterday, and specifically against Khalil Shakir. But, it is what it is.
I couldn't agree more. And tell Mom she's in the perfect spot.
All right. Raz Grizz, appreciate the question. Do we know if Watson will be back this season? The information has been all over the place if he's done or not. And Watson said he would be back, but then it got deleted. This is funny because this was on a post of mine where I, again, had assumed that he was not going to be back for the rest of the regular season. I didn't make it as clear in the tweet because I was, doing it fast, but whatnot. And he responded and said, "Who said that?" So then he deleted it really quickly. So we got I made sure to get the screenshot of it because, you tweet it, buddy, it's in there forever. I'm going to make sure of that, but we don't know. We have no idea. The fact that he thinks he'll be back at least is confidence, right? It's confident enough that he thinks he'll be able to give you something, but we don't know. You got anything on that?
No, I'm in exactly the same thing. And I'm just talking with
Mommy right there.
My sources that know how those injuries can go. And I think there's a possibility, but everybody heals differently. So I got my fingers crossed.
Des, member for 20 months. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. One of our members, obviously, with being a member for 20 months. You think coaches were holding back because of the playoffs? I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I think Spags was. I do not believe that Andy Reid does that. After we've seen, I don't think he does it anymore. I just don't.
I would agree with you, except for the fact when DeAndre doesn't play even 50% of the snaps after he's been on fire, and you don't go after Juju because he's first back, and you decide to go 12 and X, and I'm calling that the 12X game plan. That's what they did. It makes me think he's just not. Maybe he's not holding back, but he's not building the game plan like it's a playoff game.
I still think that 12 was good. I think that they did a good job with 12 personnel. They got what they were looking for. So I think that while that all makes sense to me, I'm more of the opinion that Andy Reid is not I'm just holding back my entire playbook like everyone thinks that in the playoffs he's just unloading on everyone. No, they run what they're good at. That's still what they're going to do. What's up?
Nothing. Do you think Andy's holding back? Is he like Santa with
Andy
a bag?
Holding back?
Maybe.
Respond to that?
It's like ice cream. He might have it just stuck in a pocket somewhere. Thundarius, hope you're good. You'll find out tomorrow for sure, but I'm 1 year cancer free. Congratulations, brother.
Let's go. Yeah. Love to hear it.
Cancer, my buddy. I'm glad to hear it, dude. And we will reconnect very soon. Cheers to you, bud.
All right, Des, thanks for the 2. What is the source of lack of sacks? Coverage? It's twofold. They can't cover as long on the outside as they could last year, and they can't get home with 4 like they could last year. It's making it worse. And that's why you see 3rd and longs against the Bills, where they were excellent on first, second down yesterday. They were excellent on first, second down. And they couldn't do anything in 3rd and long situations. Yeah, Ryan's muted again.
I agree.
You need to have like some tea next to you. Get
I
some
have
tea in you.
tea, lemon, and
Yeah.
honey right here, and it works for a
Not
minute.
doing
Like right now,
anything.
I'm fine. In about 10 seconds, I'm gonna cough my butt off.
I appreciate the two there, Des. Chiefs Knicks fan, thank you for another. We got another 20 months membership right here. Appreciate you. I'm glad they lost. Just mad about who they lost to. We don't have that undefeated season hanging over our heads anymore. I'm with you. I know Andy Reid kind of shook it off today and saying he doesn't care about that crap. I'm willing to bet things feel a little bit different in the locker room today. Yeah, they're probably a little upset that they lost, but they're probably just like maybe take a collective sigh of relief where they don't have to worry about that anymore. Maybe I'm wrong, but that seems to be what I kind of back up with that. What's up, sweetie? Nothing. Appreciate you, Chiefs Knicks fan. Zach, another one of our members. Thank you for the question. I have noticed over the years, wide receivers here really only fully realize their talent in year 2. This isn't even just, I think, in like Kansas City. This is a league-wide thing. Unless you're like a uber talented player and teams funnel you the football. For example, Brian Thomas Jr. is not an elite wide receiver by any stretch, but they're funneling him the football and they're letting him run what he does well. And you want to know what? But it's working. He's getting a lot of yards. Guys like Marvin Harrison Jr. just are good at football. Malik Neighbors getting funneled the football. When you just throw players the football and you scheme them the ball, you can get it done. And I think the bigger thing between that and a guy like Xavier Worthy, who's being asked to do far more than those players, in my opinion, learning what all the different roles he has to learn doing the entire offense. I think he's got to do more and understanding coverages as well. But at the end of the day, I think year 2, year 3 is where you see all wide receivers start to really take off.
Yeah, honestly, until the last like 5-6 seasons, it was always year 3.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, that was the normal timeline. Now it's just everything's accelerated and compressed. Makes life hard. You're scary, Rock, and I wouldn't trust you just like Patrick doesn't trust his receivers. So. But if he's throwing it anyway, why won't he just throw the ball? Patrick is Patrick, and he knows deep down in his bag of tricks, he can pull something out that no one else can do. Yesterday, for the first time, I really felt like he was just underestimating the attack and overestimating his ability to deal with it because he got caught too many times.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But I think it's just, an abundance of experience and confidence. It will work come January. Thank you, Green. I really appreciate you, especially
thank you, Green.
When I can't talk. And thank you, Dan. I'm gonna stop now again.
Yeah, that's fine. I was about to say I'm not totally sure why you kept going, but we'll do what we got. Knight, appreciate you, man. 40 months, 40. Woof. Just past that good old 3-year mark. Crazy. What? I'm trying to talk here. You're making it so I can't. I use my hands a lot. Leave me alone. Any free agent tackle you guys like to bring in to help? I mean, I'm not trying to pick on you, Knight. We talk about this every single week. It's only really Donovan Smith for me at this point. Bring him off the street, put him on the practice squad, and if you want to hire David Bakhtiari to come in just a consulting role, I'm down for that. Okay, I need my hands back. Thank you.
This hand back.
All right, sweetie. You're going to have to go back to your room. I'm sorry.
Pressure on Pat reminds me of the Tampa Bay Super Bowl year. And Lion Squad, you are not necessarily wrong. I think that's a very good observation. It's just rushing everything that he does. And when he can't escape, it's like he's waiting just a touch too long. I firmly believe they're not running enough quick hitter concepts just as a staple in the offense. I think they understand that they came in with Hollywood and Rasheed, and they felt like they had this over-the-top offense they could run, and it hasn't worked out that way due to injuries, due to everything, right? And he's still pressing to try to do that. I think patience is what he and Andy are lacking.
Okay. Pressure parents. Okay, so I think to an extent I understand, but that offensive line was worse than anything that Patrick has ever played behind, even now. It was the worst. And he couldn't even stand. He had to run as soon as he got the ball. So there's some differences there. And I think that it's more about how the teams are really playing them stylistically, because they had to change their entire offense last year, right? They lose all their players. You expect to come into the season with Rashee Rice, with Hollywood Brown. You've changed. You brought in DeAndre Hopkins. You brought in Juju Smith-Schuster. These guys weren't on the roster to start the year. So there's been a lot of change this year specifically. And that not just throws a wrench into everything, but everyone's got to learn timing. Everyone else has to learn where Patrick expects them to be, things like that. So it's a whole process that they're trying to learn through as well. So there's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be some things that don't go well. And I think that over the past month until this game against Buffalo, Patrick was starting to really turn the corner. And then I'm not entirely sure what happened in this game outside of some play calling gaffes, like the second play of the game. It's 2nd and 3 and they throw the ball. Just run it for a first down. Don't galaxy brain this. It's not that hard. So I think that they'll be fine. I think that we can always speak with a little bit of hyperbole about how this team struggles and they're 9-1. So it's you struggle until it takes, until it's time to win games. And I think that they're more likely to do that than not, which they've shown.
I'm with you. Bradley, for the Chiefs, if we play Buffalo again in the playoffs again, can we beat them? And it's playing mind games with the Bills. I mean, not mind games, but you're certainly not giving everything away. And yes, they can definitely beat them.
Yeah, I agree with that. They can beat any team in the NFL. We know that. This is not out of the realm of possibilities for them. They'll play better in the postseason for sure. And when it comes down to it, I think if that were to happen again and the same third quarter happens, I'd be willing to bet you the Chiefs score a touchdown or 2 and put the pressure on the Bills instead of vice versa.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Sorry.
No, you're good. Perry, thank you for the 5. Do you think Andy went away from the run to limit Hunt to keep him fresh until Pop is back? Ajad Campbell is the linebacker that we need. So I'm going to answer the first part and get to your second part. I think that they did some creative things to help limit Kareem Hunt. I think at this point they needed to continue it in this game because I think there was only one rush that he had that was negative, if I'm not mistaken. And it was the one at the goal line. Every other time he was going for 3, 4, 5+ yards, and they just didn't really feed him enough in this game. And I thought they needed to a little bit more, but that's, again, doesn't really matter at this point. It's over. And I don't think that they really needed to limit him at this juncture. Pop's could probably be back this week, right? And it's one more game. They've been doing it just fine till now, not caring. What's one more game on a 29-year-old running back? And Campbell is very raw. Very raw. Like we're talking, he's getting better this season, but he's like the Willie Gay level of raw. Like, very good athlete, great in space. I think he's getting, like I said, getting better this season. The fact that he's playing more football for Alabama and getting better as the season goes along is a good thing. I'm not sure he comes out though.
Seems to be a theme.
Right. Sorry, guys. Sorry, making sure we're all communicating here. Perry, thank you for the 5. And hopefully there's a linebacker in this class, the Chiefs draft as well. And like we said, we're a little scatterbrained tonight, guys. My daughter was sitting here, Ryan's coughing, drinking tea. If you feel like your question was not properly answered or missed, please put it back in the comments so we can get it back to you guys and properly answer that question. We don't want to leave you guys hanging. William, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. One of our members here. Hey guys, does a menu come back make enough of a difference for the pass rush to improve by January? And why aren't they using Uche? They needed him yesterday. It's funny. On the very first third down of the game, Josh Uche puts the tackle into Josh Allen's lap, forces the throw early, and they make a great play. He played 4 more snaps after that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what makes that doesn't make sense to me. But you would think a guy who played against the Buffalo Bills twice a year for the last 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, would know a thing or two about rushing against this offensive line. But I will say that that seems like a Steve Spagnuolo. Hey, we're not going to show what we're going to do right now.
That's in the back pocket.
All right, William. I agree, though. They did need him yesterday, and they just didn't do it. So right now at this point, Spags seems like he's holding back more than Andy Reid is, in my opinion, and that's for the betterment of this defense, I think, overall. So appreciate the super chat, my friend, and thank you for being here with us. I'm going to make sure we have enough of these questions here. Okay, we've done that before. All right. Chiefs Knicks fan, thank you for the $5 for $4.99. Close enough. I'm sick of analysts talking like Kansas City doesn't have the injuries. All I hear is how the Bills are injured. Cowherd is an idiot for saying Josh is better than Pat. So I'll let Ryan take this as well. But Josh Allen's playing better football than Patrick Mahomes.
He did yesterday. That's for damn sure.
I don't know about you guys. Do you think Patrick hits those bombs to Amari Cooper? Do you think he puts those on the money right now? I don't think he does. And there's nothing wrong with it. Josh Allen is the MVP, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. It's fine. You want to know what matters? Patrick's would love to have MVP. You know, he'd love to have that. It's not going to happen. You want to know what they really want? They want that third Super Bowl in a row. Okay, and I'm gonna do you a favor. Stop listening to Colin Cowherd. Stop listening to ESPN radio. Stop listening to Get Up in the Morning. Stop listening to NFL Network. These people have scripts that they are reading off of, that they are fed the day before, and they do all their stuff. They have guys lined up to ask them stupid questions. Do yourselves a favor. Study the game more. You will be better off for it. I promise you.
I'll give you a little hint. I'll save it for later because I'm not going to tear anybody down right now. I wanted to throw this up while you were talking because this is Patrick yesterday. This is what we're talking about, because if you're trying to get there, 2 red passes deep, those are the interceptions, and the white are the incompletion. 1 completion beyond 15 yards. That's it. There are only 5 attempts, only 1 completion. You can argue about Josh or whatever. Josh outplayed him yesterday. I will say this too. There is more to come. This is it. I can't emphasize this enough. This is a team that has played back-to-back 20-game seasons. And they know, unless they do something totally stupid, despite every injuries that they've had, despite every problem that they've had, they're going to have to play another 20. Mrs. Dan, nice to see you.
Yeah. Always
cooking. I love it.
Not just on here, not just on Twitter. You know, I smoked a pork loin tonight. So, you know, it's just always.
Mama's winning. So is Avery. So, okay.
I was not laughing. This is ridiculous.
I'm laughing. I think it's great. So this is what Patrick's been doing. And you can see that there are some issues. Yes, he needs to improve. Is Josh? I thought Josh played better yesterday. Yes. I don't know if I'm ready to say the season here, but you know, when you look at the stats, yeah, you can give Josh the advantage there. Roughly about the same percentage. What did it come? Yeah, 76 versus 67 versus 69. A few more yards per attempt, et cetera, et cetera. You know, but on the whole, I thought Josh played better yesterday, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be permanent. It doesn't have to be every time, but that's kind of where it's at. Pat is Pat. He can always raise his game. If you just took a whole game of that drive where they just looked so methodical and so direct and so unstoppable and actually applied that across a ball game, you'd have what we expect.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And it's going to turn on eventually. Like we're not at the point right now where they are a game below 500, where everything that's going, you know, wrong is just continuing to go wrong. It's going to be fine. Like I'm really not that worried about it. It's more just frustration, right? We all see it. It's hard to do these things consistently enough in the game itself, and there are other quarterbacks playing high-level football. But I don't think any team in the NFL gets the best shot of every single opponent that they face. And they will tell you this. This is a fact. Every team treats the Chiefs like it's their Super Bowl because they have the biggest target on their back of any team in the NFL after winning 2 straight Super Bowls. It's hard. It's tough to win in the league. It's tougher when everyone's giving you their best shot. So appreciate you, Chiefs Knicks fan, for that super chat. We'll get to another one from Green here. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the $4.99. Why are people expecting anything from Brown? He wouldn't have played all season. If he plays, he'll be out of shape and in the playoffs. So, I mean, getting into rehab, you're working out all the time. So I don't think he's going to be out of shape by any stretch. It's going to be more about timing, in my opinion, if he's going to play. But by the time he's getting back to doing football activities and things like that, he'll at least be able to get out there and work on his timing. And that's the big thing. He was practicing in the offense all off season. I know things will change, things like that, but you never really know. And if they get, the number 1 seed and he's ready to go and practice, that's a whole week, 2 weeks where he's able to practice with Mahomes, get on the same page and get back in the rhythm.
We should hear about him running in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, he's right on time. Ain't a problem. And I do have a high expectations, Green.
Yeah, agreed. I think we all do, right? I'm hopeful that he can get there, and that's what you're looking for. So thank you very much, Green, for the super chat. Jordan, thank you for a super chat, $4.99 here. With the Chiefs running game and the lack of play action calls, should be a criminal offense. So I think that they've really tried. They have tried. I think the big problem is protection. They can't trust their protection to hold up on the longer developing play action passes, and that's what you need. Because at the end of the day, Patrick has to turn his back to everybody if he's doing a true play action pass. And if you can't trust your left tackle or your right tackle, or honestly, sometimes your guards to hold up for that extra second that it's going to take for him to fake the handoff and turn around, and then he's got to run around. He doesn't have time to even get his head around and look for the open player. So it's tough. I think earlier they were doing a good job, but right now they're having a little bit of trouble of executing those play action passes because of the offensive line protection stuff. What do you think?
I am 100% with you. That is exactly what I would have said.
All right. Thank you, Jordan. Hopefully that clears up a little bit, and hopefully they get better at that throughout their season. Dub Freak, appreciate the Euro 10. I think that's right. Actually, anyway, I know it's way too early, but for next year's draft, what would the top 3 positions of focus on? Mine would be round 1, offensive line; round 2, wide receiver; round 3, cornerback; free safety. P.S. Hope you get better soon, Ryan. Do you have any specific things that you would like to see them address?
I mean, yeah, they should address all of those. In terms of the order, I can't know until I know what the field looks like in terms of the quality of players available at all those positions. I will say this. I think offensive line might be a little bit of a reaction to bad tackle play, but you got to remember it's a rookie and a second-year player. So I have a feeling the Chiefs won't go line in the first round because they feel like they've made the investment and now they're going to try to grow it. But other than that, I honestly, I hate to say it, FAU, it's not his fault, but I'd be looking for another defensive lineman that can rush the passer. Doesn't matter if it's inside, outside to me, but they need more.
Yeah, I agree with you. You have to be able to continue to put, money into the trenches. So I think defensive line, defensive tackle, it's a good defensive tackle class. If you see someone fall that you have a first round grade on, unlikely in this class you're going to get someone that falls with a true first round grade because there's going to be so few of them than in recent years. But it's a good tackle class. So I think that a defensive tackle class. So you're going to probably see someone go in the late first round that you might not see in typical years. But for me, you're still going to have to draft a wide receiver on days 1 or 2. You have to. I think free safety or safety in general is another one. I don't know what's going to happen with Brian Cook. We don't know if Justin Reed's going to be back. They've been drafting players into it, but at the same time, Shamari Connor is essentially a big slot, like a big nickel. I don't really think he's a true safety, so you can't count on him playing that role for you. So you might have to address that earlier than you want to. And linebacker. Well, a linebacker needs to happen. If you don't keep Nick Bolton, you're out a middle linebacker. I know Drew Tranquil can do that. Don't necessarily want him doing that, but
going to be 28
linebacker,
right?
Yeah, linebacker is a need that I think most people aren't really keeping tabs on.
Thank you, Dub Freak.
Appreciate you, man. Minotaur, thank you for being here. Love all the support you consistently give us, and then shell that back out for the fans with their own giving away those super chats. So thank you very much for for those subs that you continuously give everyone. Very, very appreciated. What do you think Worthy is going to look like come playoff time? I'm thinking easily 1 touchdown per game. He should have a touchdown in almost every game. In terms of what he's played this year, he's been open on not just deep shots, but on these this touchdown he scored yesterday, the one a few weeks ago, one against the Buccaneers. Like he's a red zone threat because of all the different ways that he can be utilized in their offense, motions and quick screens, things like that. So he should be a guy who gets a lot of touches and just be around the football and around the end zone. So whether it's from deep or from within 20, he is going to be involved. And I think these miscues, as much as they're frustrating, they're a good thing. You need to have the struggles. You have to. Patrick Mahomes, remember the whole overreaction stuff we had in the camp where he's throwing interceptions at 3 interceptions a practice. Yeah, cool. All right, that's awesome. Great. Fantastic. I don't care. I love the mistakes happening early on. Helps you fix it for when the time comes that you need it to be right. So I think Xavier is learning. The fact that he got a 3rd down on just that little hitch route, that spot route, and it was that quick adjustment where Patrick hit him. By the way, that's something else I'm going to talk about. There was a play on the earlier in the drive where it was a 3rd down. He ran the same spot route. Patrick didn't pull the trigger. He just looked it off, then got sacked. Later in the game, same spot route. He pulls the trigger, and then he gets up for 14 yards. Those little things are going to pay off in this as well. So it's going to get better.
I think in the playoffs and certainly on Super Bowl Sundays, Minotaur, he's going to look like a champion.
That's all that matters. That's all you need. The guy shows up. He plays. He scores touchdowns. That's what you need. Thank you, Minotaur. Green. Thank you for the super chat. Schwartz was on KCSN. He said Andy doesn't hold back. Yeah, I would trust Mitchell Schwartz to say that he doesn't hold back. That's been my interpretation over the past couple of seasons. I don't think he does, but
not my interpretation, but I understand why Mitch would say that. Mitch had Tyreek Hill on his team. Okay, it's a different era. I will also say this: maybe holding back isn't the right term. I don't think Andy specifically says, "I don't want to do that because of this." I think he puts a game plan together, and I think this is a pattern all the way back to Philadelphia. The game plans become too narrow on the offensive side. We're going to do this and this. And they have trouble adapting at times, especially if they don't get the coverage that they're looking for or a player goes down that they were going to emphasize. I think the game plans are too narrow. Not that may be a natural process to say the same thing, but I do think that's true. And I don't mind being alone in that.
That's fine. We'll see. I think that I love listening to Mitch talk football. I've been trying to get him to teach me more about offensive line play, but he doesn't respond to me on X on Twitter. So we'll have to hopefully maybe work something out this postseason, Mitch. So I appreciate you, Green. Terry, thank you for the question. After the Tyson Paul Netflix mess, are you concerned about Christmas Day games? As somebody who wasted their time watching this entire 4-hour event, only to see that. Firstly, Netflix, what are you doing?
Come on.
Why would you subject people to something that was so obviously fixed for there to be nothing? Okay. I am the best fight of the night. Nobody got to watch because it was buffering halfway through the damn stream.
Serrano and Taylor, I saw it.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you got to see it. I didn't get to see the whole damn fight because it was buffering the whole time. So Netflix, get it together, because nobody wants to be sitting there while Patrick Mahomes is about to throw a touchdown pass to Xavier Worthy, and all of a sudden, buffer.
Yeah. I must have got lucky. I don't know. I wasn't home. That's why my stream didn't buffer.
Maybe. You might be right about that. But maybe if I was connected to 5G, it would have been better. But I'm going to be less worried about this because I think the volume of people that were watching that is not going to be the volume of people watching this game. I know it's on Christmas Day. Everyone's going to be home. I think that the volume is going to be different. And this also gives them a lot of feedback on how to address it going forward. So,
And this
Yes,
is, if that's true, Michael, then that makes a lot more sense to me too.
yeah, I'm with you. If it's Jeff, who hasn't been playing football in a lot longer time, and I think I'm just going to keep my thoughts to myself.
Yeah, let's go there.
California, I appreciate the question. Is Hicks playing bad or just not getting reps? And if the latter, then why? Well, you have the Chiefs they're like 4 deep at the safety position, quote unquote, and to rotate in, you have to play. Sometimes you got to play Connor, which I'll say they did play a few snaps with Connor and Hicks and Brian Cook and Justin Reed. So all 4 of them were on the field at times. So they were mixing things up a little bit. It's a heavy defensive system to learn. It's so heavy, and especially because he was playing in like third down packages. Guess how many different things you have to know on third down from Steve Spagnuolo if he's in a blitz? Oh, you have to know all the different responsibilities. So it's a huge playbook to understand, to learn, and he's getting spoon fed a little bit, which is fine. You need these guys. I think Hicks is going to be a huge part of the defense, and I'm on record saying I think he's going to be the guy that takes over for Justin Reed, because I'm not sure anymore that he's going to be coming back next year.
We're going to find out. Here's the problem. He, Reed, and Cook are all the same type. They all should be robber down rather than single high. So you have a little bit too much of one type of corner as well. I'm sorry, safety as well.
I agree with that. Austin, thank you very much for the question. By the way, we're wrapping up here in a little bit, guys. So if you have any questions that haven't been answered or anything like that, please, if you want to get super chats in, go ahead and do it now before we let you guys be with your families for the rest of the evening. With 3 big-bodied wideouts and Travis and Noah, what do you think is? You'd think that this is the quick game, no firing with these guys. So this is a tough question to ask. I think that teams are really triggering on the quick game right now too, which the Chiefs are one-dimensional from a pass perspective. The pass rush gets home quickly. Ball has to come out quickly, so they can kind of break on all these hitch routes that the Chiefs like to run, and they also don't have the time to get to the dig or to the corner. And Justin Watson had 1 catch and 1 target yesterday. It was on a corner route. Shocking, I know, right? And it was the only one in the game. He finally had the time to get there. And I'm gonna say this: Patrick has gotten to the point where he almost has to see it before he throws it. That's not a great place to live if you can't throw with a little bit more anticipation of a window that's going to be there. So just something to keep in mind when the quick game isn't firing, but also you don't have access to the play action passes. RPOs have kind of been stripped out of this offense because they're ineffective for the Chiefs. Also not a great place to play. So there's a lot that's kind of having to be stripped from the offense, and that's not functioning properly outside of just the big body guys and the quick game being ineffective because of that. I hope that was a good enough answer for you there, Austin. Andrew, thank you for the 20 super chat. I wanted to say thank you guys for the great content. Well, thank you guys. We would not be here without you, and the questions you guys consistently provide us on Mondays allow us to provide the content that you guys are looking for. So thank you very much. Y'all are legends, and you'll give the best knowledge. I don't know if you've covered this, but how do you think the carries will be split between Hunt and Pop? This is a good one. Do you have any thoughts on this, Ryan?
I want to see a sliding scale. Just because Pacheco's ready to go again, he doesn't need to jump into 15 carries a game. You know what I mean? When you look at what they've done, they've been somewhere between yesterday was a little bit light. What was it? 16 carries. One went to wide receiver.
14, I think.
Was it? I'm just looking at
maybe I'm wrong.
I was just looking at total runs.
Runs. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a little bit light. I wanted to say 16, but Steele got 1 or 2. There was the reverse or a reverse or 2. I think if that's fine, I think it should be like a 2/3, 1/3 split for the first couple of weeks that Pacheco's back. Then maybe 50-50 as we get into December. And then I would like to ride the hot hand in January.
I love that. I love that game plan, specifically because Kareem Hunt's been doing what the Chiefs offensive line's best at, running between the tackles and just punching people's face in, essentially getting 5-6 yards a carry. And at the most, they really just kind of need a change of pace back because they don't have one. Pacheco at this point, when he comes back, can be a change of pace guy. You don't have to put too much on his plate, but he can give you a burst, an explosive run that Kareem finally had for the first time as a Chief, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It was his longest rush of 17 yards. Again, if I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's tough to live where the Chiefs live because they have to get to third and short. So hopefully he can be a change of pace back. Thank you very much, Andrew, for the super chat. We got last ones here for you guys, and then we'll get you on out of here. Darius, appreciate you being here. Welcome back. It's been a little while since we've seen you. Appreciate the 10 men. Is it possible we don't fully appreciate what the Chiefs are doing? Yes, it's very possible. Teams like the Cowboys and Bengals are showing how hard it is to win consistently, and here we are nitpicking a 3-time Super Bowl MVP for 9 out of 10 wins. You know, it's Darius here bringing a little bit of reality check to everybody. I love it because he's right. We always get caught up in the minuscule issues that they need to be able to change to get better and win that third Super Bowl in a row, right? But I tweeted it last night. The Bengals got to one Super Bowl and thought it was just going to happen. They were just going to keep going back. Life comes at you fast, real fast, especially if you don't know how to rebuild. And guess what? The Chiefs had to build that defense on the fly. They built it on the fly. Not only did they rebuild it on the fly, it got better. It's one of the best in the NFL. So, Darius, I appreciate you bringing a lot of the reality check that maybe we all need a little bit at times here. So, thank you very much for that. We all could use a little bit more in our lives.
Yeah.
Last one here, guys. Too quick. Thank you for the 20. Very much. Appreciate that. Great breakdown, guys. Off topic. Colorado versus Kansas in Arrowhead. Who you got? I know Ryan's answer to this question.
You know my answer.
He's gonna say Kansas because that's what he believes. I think Colorado is going to destroy them. I don't think it's going to be close. I don't believe. I think Kansas is playing better. I'll give them that. They're playing better. I think Colorado's offense is going to put up 40 on them. I just don't think that they can stop them.
Nah, screw that.
And that's no offense to all you Kansas fans. It's
whatever. I don't want to hear it. Shut up. I'm done. I say Kansas wins 28-24.
Appreciate the super chat. All right, guys. Thank you all for being here tonight. Sorry that I hope your throat feels a little bit better. Just get some more honey in there and some tea and don't talk for a little while. You know, say no to people so you don't have to continue to do work. That's the big thing you got to work on there, Ryan. But at the end of the day, you know, you got any last thoughts for the crew here before we head on out?
I do have one last thing. For all of you that are here, we really appreciate you on a Monday night. Give Dan a hand because from the last couple of years, it would be, hey, I don't know if we're going to get through the show. Like, what are we going to do? And then Dan showed up. And now we are a team and we can get this done even when when I sound like a pile of garbage. So I appreciate you, Dan, and I appreciate you guys for hanging in with us. This is a team effort. And it's wonderful to see you guys here on a Monday night when you could be watching ball, which normally if I wasn't streaming myself, I'd be watching ball. So I totally get it. You are the dude, Dan, and I appreciate you. And thank you guys for all hanging out with us as we continue to rocket towards a third championship. And we are here for it. I'm going to pound stuff. That was fun.
That's all you got to do. And it's only classic me to tell you to say no to people and stop talking. And then I tell you to talk more, right? Nikki, real quick. Did you try to click on that real quick?
Yeah.
I didn't see your question. So while I'm doing the outro, why don't you go ahead and kind of like put it back in here,
Please.
and then we can answer it real quick for you guys. But I appreciate y'all being here, and the fact that we, again, like you said, have gotten to this point where we can do this together. And if someone's either not feeling up to it, or I have to go, deal with the little one, or you got to go deal with some family stuff, that we can take over and kind of handle it that way. As always, it's a great thing to be here, and I love that you guys are all so supportive of what we do, and that you welcome my daughter being on the show whenever she wants to, and I love that as well. So you guys make it very easy to want to be here every Monday and to talk with you for hours on end every single week, and we love being able to do that. So Nikki, hopefully we can get your answer, your question here, and if not, we'll definitely write it down so we can answer it next time for sure. Maybe I'll go back through those and do that. So if you guys, there it is, here we go. Appreciate you, Nikki.
Awesome.
We'll do this real
Thanks for the
quick.
patience.
Is it possible Donovan Smith is hurt? That's why he hasn't been signed, had that neck injury last year. You're right about that. And I think the reason that most people are bringing it up now is because Donovan Smith has kind of gone back and forth with Jeff Allen, a former Chiefs player, on Twitter, saying that he doesn't really know why he's not there, kind of, So at the end of the day, I think Donovan is trying to get something going so he can be back on the practice squad. And it's
dropping the bomb.
This is a good story because she's the reason I'm doing this. I'll be very honest with you. We used to watch football. We all watch football all the time, right? And she's just like, you're saying what they're saying, but you're saying it before they say it. So why don't you talk about football? And so here we are. We are here now. Thank you very much. Okay, I appreciate.
Someday we're going to do a broadcast.
Yeah. Oh, I love you. Hope you have a good evening. We'll talk a little bit after this. Say goodnight to Avery as well. So appreciate you, babe. Everyone, once again, thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate you every single Monday. Every time you guys come here with us, it's a special moment that we get to share and drop some knowledge. Don't forget, tomorrow, I imagine, if he can talk, Ryan will have something for you if he can figure that out. I will be back on Wednesday with a little bit of the film breakdown about what the Chiefs really went wrong, how they could have probably won that football game even with everything going wrong for them. And then Gary will be back on Thursday. And then, hey, turn back around on Friday. Ryan and I will be back with those game plan notes for you guys for the keys against one of the worst teams in football. Kansas City, be ready. Thank you guys for being here once again. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.